Chair recognizes Representative Lindsey to speak to the bill. Representative Lindsey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today in support of House Bill 875. This bill is a step in the right direction toward moving Georgia public policy on gun ownership in closer alignment with both the purpose and spirit of the Second Amendment and to the realities of the world in which we live. While I wholeheartedly support this bill, I also hope that it will be the beginning of further dialogue in three important areas. One, the realities and dangers behind merely legally labeling gun-free zones. Two, the dangers posed from our dysfunctional mental health system. And three, the responsibility that comes with gun possession and the consumption of alcohol. In the area of so-called gun-free zones, this bill makes a dramatic step forward towards meeting reality with the law. Expecting gun-free zones without accompanying added security is delusional at best and counterproductive at worst. A merely designated gun-free zone with nothing more is like a screen door trying to stop a burglar. You are only kidding yourself. Overall, while Georgia as a whole has seen a reduction in crime, crime has in fact risen on our college campuses. In 2012 alone, there were 38 forcible rapes, 46 aggravated assaults, and 87 robberies on Georgia campuses. Therefore, absent armed security and screening, people must be allowed to exercise their Second Amendment right and defend themselves in public areas. As an example, I would ask for you to consider the difference with what took place just this past December at Arapahoe High School in Colorado and what took place a little over a year ago at Sandy Hook Elementary School. Both were tragedies, but the incident in Colorado saw only one innocent person seriously injured. The tragedy at Sandy Hook was far darker, where 26 people were massacred. What was the difference? In Colorado, there was an armed individual there to stop the perpetrator before more mayhem could occur. Tragically, that was not the case in Sandy Hook. In the area of mental health, much more needs to be addressed in the future. A 2011 study at the University of California found a direct correlation between homicide rates by the mentally ill and the difficulty of involuntarily committing individuals who pose a threat to themselves and others. This is exactly the situation as what took place at Sandy Hook. The conclusions of the report are as follows. The study's findings demonstrate a need for increased protective oversight, in better quality mental health systems, increased bed access, and involuntary inpatient and outpatient care criteria, facilitating early preventive intervention for a very vulnerable population of people. Finally, I want to address something that's very personal to me. My grandfather, who lived a very troubled life, was shot and killed in a bar after a drunken brawl, and my father grew up without a father. This is something that's very personal to my entire family. Therefore, the issue of alcohol and guns is something that I take very seriously. The law in Georgia presently bars any individual who's carrying a gun in a restaurant from consuming alcohol. It's a simple misdemeanor. The law also bars someone who's carrying a gun and who's intoxicated from discharging that weapon. However, there is no prohibition from simply, or no law against simply being intoxicated while carrying a gun. This is a loophole that I would hope that the authors of this bill would consider closing as this bill moves forward. Certainly, just as we bar someone who's intoxicated from driving a car, even if no accident occurs, we should also offer stiff penalties for anyone who's in the possession of a firearm and who is intoxicated. In conclusion, long ago, I have learned in this chamber the wisdom of the legislative maxim to not allow pursuit of the perfect to defeat the good. And this is a very good bill that Representative Jaspers and others have worked on for over a year. We in this chamber have struggled through 3 different bills that we have passed and asked the Senate to also pass. I'm asking you today to not allow defeat of the good by pursuit of the perfect. Let's pass this very good bill, and let's demand that the Senate finally oblige and provide the people of Georgia with the protections that they so rightly deserve under the United States Constitution. With that, Mr. Speaker, I yield the will.
He has yielded, gentleman has yielded the will. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 875 will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of House Bill 875. The ayes are 119, the nays are 56. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed.